Okay, that was Demon Slayer Season 3, Episode 2. Man, it sucks going back to shorter episodes. I missed, like, the hour long.
It felt so odd. When this episode was over, I was like, yeah, no, we literally just started, like, 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. I needed more.
It's like... It's your sense of time gets thrown off so much when you go from something like 40 minutes of content to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And so it literally only felt like it was 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was a good episode though. I liked learning a little bit more about Muichiro's disposition, or like
his
disposition.
Disposition's very interesting.
Yeah, he especially like with the outro, the way that his expression was definitely made it seem like he used to be much happier or peaceful. I have to assume or like say that my first thought is we had confirmation from the crow that he's a descendant of sun breathing, and if Muzan's out to get people who are descendants of sun breathing or of branch families, it would also make sense if his family was murdered in a similar way that Tanjiro's was.
That is a really great point to make, that if he is a descendant of this person that in Muzan's passed on memories to the other demons, he is scared of.
Yeah.
To the point where they have a mechanical training doll that no one really truly knows the history of anymore, that's 300 years old, that resembles that same person that Muzan seems to fear in some way. And so that is a really great... I didn't even connect that maybe that is why Muichiro is the way that he is.
Potentially.
So I think we kind of, when we started this season, laid out what we thought the kind of current question marks were. I think at the beginning of this episode, maybe even, we talked about, like, the blue spider lily. And, who is this person that showed up to Tanjiro's relative? And now I'm like, okay, I really love getting to know the Hashira. And I really liked getting Rengoku's past. I really liked getting with Tengen, seeing the glimpses of when he first met his wives and then how they kind of all grew in their relationship together. But this and some of the lines he was saying, I was like... So he says these lines at the beginning about torture training, and he's very blunt. He's has, as Tanjiro says, no tact.
Yeah.
And then Tanjiro is very much like, I don't like this guy. And it's a very interesting relationship, personality dynamic to have with Tanjiro as the super, super nice, too nice guy who is going to always carefully say his words, use words that aren't going to hurt someone's feelings the best he can. He's very protective of people's feelings and their hearts. And that's one of the most endearing parts of him.
Yeah.
But to have this mix of no malice, but still very blunt and truthful.
Exactly.
And Tanjiro even said, like, nothing you're saying is a lie, but I don't like how you're saying it, and to the extent that you're saying it, and that you're saying it to a kid. So I like this dynamic that's happening.
The no malice is really interesting. Like, of course, like, Hashira, right? I wouldn't think that he's, like, a villain or, like, has any malice to begin with, but it's an interesting, like, point to say in this episode to us, because I'm like, I could draw some connections between him and Tanjiro, like, if things happened a different way, or slightly different even,
I think what kept, in one area, like, obviously, the torture training line, I'm still going to keep that in the back of my head, because I really like what you just said about kind of what could have happened to Tanjiro, and so on that thought, I'm going to go into, is Nezuko's existence the reason that Tanjiro is able to continue the way that he was before?
I think that that's a really good point. I think that his belief and wanting, things to change, maybe even Gyu showing up and having some sort of interaction with the two of them as well. And then, everything through Tanjiro's path that we've seen so far, if one small thing didn't happen or happened differently, he could be totally different. If Nezuko wasn't a demon or wasn't turned into a demon and they were all just dead, I don't think that Tanjiro would have the same mission to... I think that there's a chance that he'd still be like, okay, let me avenge my family, but it would be a much different Tanjiro.
It might be colder.
Yeah.
There's something about, if I were to try to put myself in Tanjiro's shoes I think the fact that I would still have one of my family members with me, I would still want to be somewhat my old self.
Yeah.
You know, there's something that you're still so connected to your original personality, your past, and you want to. He doesn't want to appear like a totally different person in front of Nezuko. He doesn't want to worry Nezuko.
Yeah.
Even if she is a demon, he doesn't want to worry her. So having her there is definitely going to keep him being who he always was, both as a support, but also like this responsibility as the older brother to make it so his little sister never has to worry and he'll take care of her.
Yeah. There was a line that Tanjiro almost said and then was interrupted. And I don't remember if it was by Kotetsu, if it was by Muichiro, or by the crow itself, but that's the same age as my about to say brother, which would also potentially connect with Muichiro losing maybe his family, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a similar kind of sentiment that they'd share.
I think when we saw it in the outro, it seemed like possibly two parents in the background. But there could always be siblings.
Or maybe the fact no siblings, no chance of being turned into a demon. Nezuko didn't exist in his life, you know? I definitely think that his crow knows what he has been through, though. It seems like very protective, you know?
I have another layer. What if so not only is that step the fact that he might didn't have a surviving family member if he is in the same kind of a parallel line to Tanjiro. The other element is Tanjiro got saved by Gyu, which you said, but then there was Urokodaki.
Yep.
And what if Muichiro wasn't kind of trained by the same level of, even though he was harsh, there was love there and warmth?
Well, yeah. I mean, we have Zenitsu was trained by Gramps, love and warmth. Tanjiro, Urokodaki, Inosuke, Woods. But no, like torture training. What if like you stumble upon a teacher, but it's just a lot different, a lot more painful, a lot more cold, that you're told that there's only one way to live this life or get anywhere, you know? And
it's possible that teacher might have had knowledge. Well, it seems like it's common knowledge that Muichiro is from a descendant of the sun-breathing. Doesn't that even lend to the idea, if it's common knowledge between people, that he would be trained harder?
Yeah.
Because he has almost more of this ancestral responsibility and this possibility of this innate talent within him in order to take down Muzan, that people might be very harsh in training him because of that responsibility. Yeah.
There could be a connection, I wonder, to like the master. Like maybe after learning about if something did happen to his family, like he could have stepped in to try to like guide him a certain way that didn't turn out right. Or like I also think of Rengoku's dad, right? He was an ex-Hashira, and even though he survived, his outlook on life was so twisted and like he mean-spirited that if somebody who had a similar disposition was the one to train Muichiro, I could see that training resulting in, you know, a much less loving, motivating Hashira.
Am I supposed to possibly guess that they are both descendants of sun-breathing?
I think that...
But maybe a branch
Tanjiro
family?
we have nothing to suggest that Tanjiro has any blood relation.
We've only heard about the scar.
Sun-breathing. Yes, with Tanjiro, it was like, that's not how it is. This is a scar from my childhood that had nothing to do with that. The only reason he had the flame dancing to begin with was because his dad passed on that dance, you know?
Right, but then we get with Kokoshibo, has both kind of Tanjiro's mark on his forehead and up his neck. So that's why I'm wondering, is this like, if it was two brothers, he's a descendant of that brother, and maybe Tanjiro is the descendant of Kokoshibo.
Perhaps. That would be cool.
It could be like different family lines.
Yeah, but if that was a descendant of Tanjiro's family that we saw last episode, what if the thing that they passed on wasn't even a name, but the dance in itself, you know, and maybe the earrings, and that enough was enough to pass on the memories.
Right,
inherited memory.
How did we end up with the earrings when they were originally on this person, appearing to this ancestor of Tanjiro's, with his final lines kind of being like, don't name your kid after me?
I cannot believe nobody brought up that they had the same earrings. I was like waiting for it.
It was right there. And I don't like.
Are they that popular?
That took me out of it like only slightly because I was like, why is no one talking about how Tanjiro is wearing the same earrings as this mechanical doll? And all of them are acting surprised that he had a dream about this person that is represented by the mechanical doll. He's literally wearing the same earrings.
Yeah. They could be popular, you know?
Their hair is the same color.
I love the idea of the mechanical doll. Like, obviously, it seems to just be like a thematic mirroring of 6 arms, 6 eyes, because the whole purpose of the 6 arms was to mimic something that nobody could ever
no one could ever actually do. They couldn't make the doll achieve the same technique that the original swordsman could unless they gave it 6 arms.
108 moves. Damn.
There's now that element that Tanjiro bested the 5-arm version.
Yeah.
Muichiro bested the 6-arm version.
There's still that gap.
There's still, and I think that that's a great, like, actual visual, literal representation of what a gap between Tanjiro currently and a Hashira would be. I
wonder if Muichiro would be pissed to know that he took the wrong sword after his broke.
Interesting. If you were in his shoes, wouldn't you be, like, a little frustrated? Like, you could have gotten this awesome sword? I mean, he might not even care.
In my mind, in my headcanon right now, he doesn't care. He won't care. It doesn't make a difference
He
to him.
seems to think of swords as just tools that can just be broken. Like, and he just threw it at Tanjiro and was like, discard of this one.
Like, Haganeska, like, I get your rage, man.
He couldn't be with Haganeska as a swordsmith.
I understand that you're punished when Tanjiro breaks one of your swords, but
he has respect for it.
Yeah, he has respect for you, and he heard it. I love that Haganeska showed up this episode, you know?
Tanjiro definitely smelled him and was like, Haganeska's here?
The whole idea of Kotetsu being like, Tanjiro saying to Kotetsu, try hard for yourself 10 years from now. Like, the you 10 or 20 years from now is going to be happy that you tried hard now. I think that's a really cool sentiment.
And also, on that same note, he's talking to this kid who has very much an emphasis in their dialogue on ancestry and ancestry responsibility. So when Tanjiro reminds him that the ancestry doesn't stop with him and that in the future, his kids, his grandkids, if he can't figure it out, someone still can.
That was a different side of dialogue from Tanjiro that I feel like I have not heard in a while. The idea that he might not accomplish the Muzan feat.
Yes.
And that somebody else might in the future.
That's a great, like, kind of place to go with what I just said.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. He is almost saying, it made me think of the trust that he's now placing in, especially the Hashira that he's met and had substantial relationships with Nezuko in tow. I think he's realizing through those interactions, and as those Hashira grow to actually care about Nezuko and realize, you know, she's not just the average demon to be scared of and kill.
Yeah.
I think that he's seeing that he, with Nezuko, is building this almost like world of understanding, a place where she could still be safe.
Yeah.
And people that would still care for her enough to want to help her.
I'm thinking, like, the comparisons again between Tanjiro and Muichiro. Like, Tanjiro, throughout his journey so far, he has his mission, but on his way, he has helped other people time and time again. But Muichiro seems very one-track minded.
To the point where he it's almost like his mind is empty except for whatever that goal or mission is. And if he gets distracted from it, it takes him a second to realize who's speaking to him, what are they saying, process that information. It's like his mind is very...
It's like he has horse blinders on, right? Like, he doesn't even remember Tanjiro or his interactions. And then
until like 5 seconds later, and then it light bulb.
Yeah, and just barely, right? The thing that, like, has me like, what the hell the most this episode was the shimmering stone moment. But it led to this, like, I guess, power-up or, like, new ability that the opening thread and the site for that is not, like, the best of the best right now. He can use his scent to decipher where the strikes are going to land. That's crazy.
As Kotetsu said, you're just going through, like, the moves and the motions. You're not, like, really, like, in it.
Yeah.
And now that's him being really in it. That's him using all of his actual personal talents in order to achieve the best.
Yeah. Can you smell things underwater? No way.
No. Because you would die if you tried to
Not
smell
Tanjiro.
underwater.
Tanjiro can smell underwater. That's a crazy talent. If you could smell underwater, man. I mean, what? It's like a scent, like sharks, blood in the water.
Uh-huh.
Could we benefit as humans from being able to smell underwater?
Possibly.
Maybe. I don't know. It's a really intriguing point. I don't know. I'll talk to you about it later.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything more to the Shimmering Stone underwater, though? Do you think it's going to, like, have a name like the opening thread or, like, a,
He might give it a
title?
name, like, I smell the Shimmering Stone
Yeah.
or something like that. He might give it, like, some kind of phrase or tagline to say when it happens.
Yeah.
But it made me happy to have that now because his sense of smell is something that is easily accessible to us as a viewer from watching this for 2 seasons already. And so to have it now be something that can advance him makes a lot of sense, using his actual talents and not just technique.
Yeah. So, do you think, my last thing, I guess, is, do you think both Hashira, if any, will make it out alive by the end of the season?
Oh, see, I don't, after Rengoku died, I find it very hard to believe that the current Tanjiro, what he's gone through, and the potential he has, the fact that he has already taken down an upper, I find it hard to believe that will happen again going forward. I almost feel like, sorry, Rengoku, you seemingly were the sacrificial lamb of Tanjiro now being able to help Hashira make it out alive. Because Tengen made it out, and then obviously Nezuko basically saved him, actually, because the poison. I don't know if a regular doctor could have helped him the same way.
I am a little worried about Mitsuri, because she is not here from what we've seen. If she gets confronted by 2 upper-ranked demons, on her way out of the village, and then after dealing with her, they move on to Muichiro and Tanjiro. I'm a little worried for her at the moment. Unless she, turns around and comes, and, we see her again and interacting with the other 2.
Couldn't you see her, about to start fighting a demon, and then Genya is there, and then they have to fight together, and he's like, ugh!
That'd be awesome.
And she's like, do you like me? Why won't you talk to me?
I want to learn more about Genya.
I know, we saw something very interesting that I don't think we're gonna truly talk about in the intro with him and his choice of weapon.
Of the gun? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Understand it. Are there Nichi
ring
bullets?
bullets? Maybe. I mean,
They
where else
could.
would you go if you needed them?
Exactly. But I think that you have it right to, why would she not leave? Why would Mitsuri not leave when her whole plan was to leave as soon as her sword was ready? So the idea that as she's leaving the village is when she discovers the demons or comes upon the demons or they come upon her. Without a doubt, this is probably the location, unfortunately, that they have found. Yeah. And we've had a lot of dialogue, especially in this episode, about how the swordsmiths can't fight,
Yeah.
But there's demon slayers there. And it's almost like, is that kind of this arc is protecting this village from these demons? She'd probably be the sounding alarm of, oh my god, demons are here, demons are here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm nervous for her. I don't want to break down the ending or intro too much, because I feel like if I think about it too much,
if we think about it too much, we might
some blanks, and I don't want to do that.
But her ribbon sword, we got to see it in action. I really want to.
I know. And we're not going to talk about what sword Muichiro is using in the intro or outro either.
See, I didn't even pay attention to that.
We're just not going to talk about it.
So we're not going to talk about it because I didn't even pay attention to it.
Yeah, it's fine.
I tried to watch it with almost glazed over in a way. Not actually processing what I was seeing and more just enjoying it with the song.
If
and
it comes up
cinematic.
while we're watching it, it's fine. But I don't want to go break down scene by scene,
Try too hard to analyze it.
Yeah. All right. That's all I have you.
I think so.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we hope to see you next time. No,
but still very blunt and truthful.
No,
but still very blunt and truthful. Still very blunt and truthful.
Still very blunt and truthful.